Good evening, friends. Today, I would like to discuss about the domain name basics. In this presentation, I would like to discuss about the tips you should consider before purchasing a domain and choosing the right domain register before purchasing any domain. Let's jump into it. First one, there are a lot of domain name extensions out there in the market. Choosing the perfect domain name makes a crucial role in terms of establishing your business or a blog or in terms of creating a marketing agency or whatever it is. Choose your perfect domain name extension. There are 7 things which I will always consider before purchasing the domain. The first one, do the market research. Before purchasing your domain, make sure that your domain belongs to which category. Either you would like to open a business, or whether you would like to open any marketing agency, or would you like to purchase a domain name for your blog, or would you like to establish a government organization, or whether you would like to create any a specific market segment. You need to consider a lot of things before coming to a conclusion about purchasing a domain. Do your research and do the comparison between your competitors, if suppose if you are planning to establish a company, and make sure that all these things should be considered before purchasing a domain. Second thing, buy domain names that are easy to remember and type. It's obvious that if people can remember your website domain name, they can directly go into the Google and they can type your domain name, and it can easily show up in the domain in the Google starting page. If your domain name itself is like very complicated, then it's very hard for the people to choose your domain, and they might end up landing in a different website. Make sure that your domain is precise and easy to remember and easy to type. Third thing, avoid using slang terms and numbers. As we know, most of the people they tend to purchase the domain names which has the a slang in the domain name. But if you consider some of the big corporations like Microsoft, Google, Tesla, Amazon, and all these big companies, most of the times they have considered purchasing a domain space which lasts forever. Uh, in the same manner, when we are choosing a domain name, make sure that the domain name will be last forever and without impacting anything, so that people can remember, and you no need to change your company or a business or a blog name down the line after 10 years. Fourth thing, buy a domain name that's shorter than the longer. As per the domain registrar's suggestions, make sure to choose a domain name which is less than 15 characters. Right now on the internet, in the internet, you can find more than million domains which are having existing from past 30-40 years. It's difficult to find out the best domain name which will suffice your requirement based on your business or blog or education based on that. But make sure that you cannot exceed more than 15 characters. If you choose a domain name which is more than 15 characters, it is very hard to remember for the people who will search for your website, and then they might end up landing on the different website. The next thing, prefer to go with .com. Stick with TLDs. Even though there are like a lot of extensions came into the market like .net, .org, .in, .co, .au, .edu, .info, .online, one of the commonly used domain name extensions is .com, because most of the times we have habituated to use the .com as a one of the website extension from the starting of the internet era. But still there are some of the extensions are available, but I prefer to choose .com. And also, if the .com is not available, you can choose some of the top level domains such as .net, .info, and those kind of stuff. The next thing, avoid buying trademarked domains or similar to other domains. As the name suggests, do not purchase any domains which are similar to the bigger companies or the trademark domains. such as, for example, if you can find out a domain name called Microsoft T, or maybe Googly, or something like that, which represents the top level trademark domains, then you might end up in a lawsuit. As per the US federal government and the as per the US federal government, if you purchase a domain name, even though you do not have any intention to use any kind of like trademarks, if your domain name is almost similar to the trademark domains, there will be a huge fine will be there will be a lawsuit filed by the uh, US government. So make sure that avoid these domain names. And the last one, check social media for the availability. As we know, most of the companies or the organizations, whenever they are purchasing the domain, they always try to establish a social media profiles. If you have any intention to create a social media profile, make sure that the domain which you are going to purchase has a social media profile available. If not, then try to choose a different name which will satisfy both the requirement. Then coming to the choosing your domain register. If you look at the internet, there are hundreds of websites which will offer the domain name, but choosing the perfect domain register makes a vital role in terms of protecting your domain as well as protecting your privacy. So these are the top things which I can consider before purchasing any domain. First one, reputable domain register. As the name suggests, there are like thousands of websites which offer the domain registration, but make sure to purchase a domain which was accredited by icon.org. Icon.org is a United States non-profit organization which takes care of all the internet related namespaces and the domain names and website. Even if you still have any kind of issue with your domain register, you can file a complaint at Icon to resolve that conflict with your registrar. Second thing, free SSL provider. SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. When you are purchasing a domain, make sure that it is already provided by your domain register. If you are avoid choosing the domain register which will provide this SSL, when you purchase, once you establish your website or an organization or a blog, when people come to your website, if they can't see this SSL certificate, then people think that your website is not trustworthy and they might end up uh, going away from your website. So always choose who will provide free SSL providers. Third one, free privacy protection. When you're purchasing a domain, all the domain owners' names will be present in the whois.net. Whois.net is an organization where you can find all the domain name owners. If the privacy protection is not available for your domain, then there is a highly chances of your information will be leaked to the third party companies for the marketing purposes. So I always prefer to go with any website who will offer the free privacy protection. Fourth one, free domain transfer. You might ask about why do I need the domain transfer, but there are like a lot of things need to be considered before choosing the registers. Some of them are I already listed over here. For example, you have registered a domain with a one of the website called ABC. Down the line, maybe after 6 months or 1 year, you thought that the domain register is not providing any kind of support, or he's not solving any kind of your issues, or maybe he's not supporting you for the all the questions which you have. In the time, if you wanted to transfer your domain, there should not be any restrictions. Some of the domains, they have a restriction that you cannot transfer your domain when you purchase with the register. So make sure that your domain register does not have any issue with the transfer. Fifth one, domain marketplace. This is one of the key thing if you plan to trade the domains. The domain trading is nothing but buying the domains and selling the domain names for the profit. There are like a lot of websites which offer this one, but if you plan to choose your domain name only for the business purpose or educational purpose, you don't need to do that. But for example, if you wanted to be a professional domain trader, or you wanted to sell a domain for a profit, make sure that your domain registrar will provide the domain marketplace where you can list your domain for free of cost. Obviously, they most of the domain marketplace registrars, they can use your domain for selling, but when you sell your domain, there is a 5 to 10% of commission fee will be taken by the domain registrar. And last but not least, 24 by 7 online support. When it comes to the domain marketplace, there are like a lot of, when it comes to the domain name, there are a lot of things to be considered. One of thing is 24 by online 24 by 7 online support. For example, you are registering a domain with some XYZ a domain register. If that XYZ domain register is not providing 24 by 7 support, then there is a highly chances that you might hate registering with the domain, or maybe you get frustration because there might be like a lot of questions might arise when you are establishing a website, or when you wanted to like create some namespaces, or like if you wanted to change your name server, something like that. So every domain register having a different type of things when it comes to when it comes to the support. So make sure that your domain register will provide 24 by 7 online support. The last one, less renewal cost. If you plan to hold your domain for a longer period of time, make sure that you can register your domain for more than 5 years, so that some of the domain registers, they will provide a discounts. For example, if you are using your domain only for buying and selling, you can choose any domain registrar who is providing all these features. And also some of the domain registers, they have a bundle offer. For example, for the first year you might paying only for $2, and for the after 1 year you might paying $15, which is quite common in all of the domain registers. So as I mentioned, like there are like a lot of tips over here. Let's jump into some of the best websites which I choose for my domain registrations. Before jumping into that one, I would like to tell you something about the domainstate.com. So this is one of the US website where it will show you about the top level domain registrars, and how many domains they hold. If you look at here, there is GoDaddy, which holds up to uh, approximately 60 million domains, and the second one is Tokos, and the third one is Namespace. Like that, we have like a lot of domain name registers. Out of all these, I prefer to go with the GoDaddy and Namecheap, and also one and one internet, and there is something called Dynadot. I will let you know what is the purpose why I choose these domain name registers. First one, let's jump into the GoDaddy. As you know, the GoDaddy is a very convenient way of using the domain names, and most of the times when you are purchasing any domain with GoDaddy, they will provide first year like a very less cost, and the second year it will be like a nominal cost of $15. uh, and most of the reasons why we go with the GoDaddy is there is like 24 by 7 online support is available, and the customer support is really good, and you can easily choose like a lot of options, like they will provide some kind of suggestions if you wanted to purchase a domain. For example, I am just mentioning about trendy.com. If you look at here, the GoDaddy will provide like a lot of details in terms of choosing your domain. It will tell you whether this domain is available or not, and if it is not available, they can provide you a domain broker services if you would like to get the same domain name. Or else there are like a lot of other suggestions they will provide you with different extensions, trendy.biz, trendy.org, trendy.dev, trendy.shop. So if suppose the domain name and with the extension which you are planning to purchase, if it is not available, make sure that you can choose GoDaddy and search for the domain name which is you are more interested in. And the second one I choose is Dynadot. The Dynadot is a like a website which I started using it from past couple of months. The main advantage of the Dynadot is it will provide you the domain marketplace for free of cost, and also they will provide you the free SSL as well as free privacy protection. When it comes to the GoDaddy, they will not provide you the free privacy protection. You need to purchase for extra $9 per year. And this Dynadite has a like a better opportunity to explore. Like if you wanted to be a domain trader, there is an option for purchasing the domains. There is something called buy and sell domains, expired domains, dropping domains, and also there are like a lot of auctions will happen over the period of time, and there is like marketplace listing and the drop domains. So if you plan to choose a domain name which has a privacy protection, less cost, and the domain marketplace, I will ask you to choose the Dynadite compared to the GoDaddy, because in GoDaddy they won't provide you the privacy protection and they don't provide you the free of cost domain marketplace. And the next one I will go with is ionvos.ca. So this is one of the website I recently came across when I was looking to purchase a website domain name. So one of the interesting with the IONOS is when you're purchasing your domain, they will offer you $1 for first year and then $15 for the second year. And also this website will also provide the free SSL and pre privacy protection for your website. So better to choose this one compared to the GoDaddy. For example, if you wanted to save money in terms of privacy protection as well as secure socket layer. And the last website which I would like to discuss about is Flippa. In this Flippa, there are like a lot of people would like to sell their domains and buy and selling the domains as well as other businesses. So one of the biggest reason why I choose Flippa is a like a very big organization where it provides like a lot of trading between the businesses as well as the services. So if you would, for example, if you are planning to sell your domain, I can say that you can stick with Flippa because there are like a more number of people who are interacting with the Flippa website than any other websites. I might creating another video which will explain about the top level websites where you can sell your domain. Thank you for watching.